Moving on to the comic movie news that's rip-roaring through the internet. Incels are losing their minds. Men's rights activists are losing their minds. All those typical losers that you'd expect to see losing their minds from this announcement. Julia Garner is joining the Fantastic Four as the Silver Surfer. The Emmy winner will play the Shala Ball version of the character. That is from the Earth X series, which I don't know if I've read that. I feel like I might have read, but I honestly can't remember. I also have never gotten the utter fascination that people seem to have with Earth X. Is it the Alex Ross art? I can't even remember what the storyline of it. It's like in the future, and that's where they established the celestial egg in the Earth, which is another thing that the MCU's doing. I'm sure there's other MCU stuff that they took from Earth X. If anybody knows why Earth X is so sought after in adaptations, please let me know. So the Earth X thingy is what the fuck am I talking about? Shala Ball. So Shala Ball, Norrin Rad, before he was the Silver Surfer, before they, did all that. They were beaux. They were in love. Blah blah blah. I wonder if they're gonna go bald, or are they going to go hair? The ultimate predicament. If they go bald, then I'd want to see them do like a super androgynous looking Silver Surfer, like kind of like Gozer the Gozerian, where it's like, yeah, the cosmic force and energy of Galactus just transformed this alien woman into just this androgynous, ungendered, unsexed entity that he uses as essentially a tool. If anything, really, Galactus's heralds are no different than the pigs that smell out truffles for people. I'd imagine that they're going to do pretty much just an adaptation of the Alex Ross art. Although I'm sure people who aren't familiar with that fact that is from a comic and just lose their minds immediately and call it the MCU and how Disney's gone woke and now they're going to go broke won't give a shit anyway. It's a neat characterization, and it leads me into this Fantastic Four discussion. So, let's talk Fantastic Four theories for the MCU based on everything that's come out. It is currently April 4th, 2024. 4. You gotta smush down that 2 a little bit. If only we're 20 years into the future. My God, imagine the Fantastic Four film that comes out on April 4th, 2044. Yesterday they announced that what was her name? Julia Garner is going to play the Shala Ball version of Silver Surfer. I still don't know if she's going to have hair or not. Fantastic Four. They also published a poster showing Johnny Storm flying through the air, making a big 4 out of the flames. Here's the interesting thing. In the background, it's clearly not a normal city. It is the most futuristic, retro-future, sci-fi 60s version of New York I have ever seen. There's what looks to be the Empire State Building, maybe the Chrysler Building or something. There's like weird pods and arches everywhere. There's this super highway or probably some sort of monorail going through. And there's what looks like the Twin Towers with big fancy antennae on top of them, looking fairly similar to Jack Kirby's idea of, how you draw a city. It's just a bunch of rectangular buildings, which I am all for. The fact that there are rumors going around that the Fantastic Four film is going to begin and take place in an alternate reality to the MCU's primary universe, and then they get shifted over some way. That just further fuels that fiery idea by the fact that this takes place in the 60s, but it's a retro-future 60s where stuff is just far more advanced, but also maybe a little old because it's the 60s. They also posted a photo of Herbie the robot. And he looks really cute. He has a weird little, looks like tape deck eyeballs or something, which I assume is probably how they compute the artificial intelligence voice lines or something. Like, whenever he speaks, his eyes, roll to the different tape sections so he can speak properly, kind of like Bumblebee. They also released the Future Foundation logo. So that is interesting. It looks like a basketball with an F on it. But speaking of that symbol, they also did this one, which is four circles, one of which is full orange, orangish yellow, almost the exact same color as Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. The other is an outline of a circle, almost like they're trying to show that it's transparent, like you would in a comic about Sue Storm. The third, I think you're seeing where I'm going with this, is red, like Johnny Storm. And the last one is a bunch of lines in the shape of a basketball, and that's outstretched, being Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. And the Future Foundation logo is that outstretched one with the F, and then the F making up the other side. It's one F is upside down, the other F isn't. So we know that the Future Foundation is going to be in this. That is established through this, seemingly. And I don't know what these logos could possibly be, if they are actually used in the film anywhere. That's what they've released today. So from that, we can get a couple things, like I said. Johnny Storm, I don't know why I started with Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie, guys. He's on fire. It's going to be in a weird, retro, futuristic, sci-fi version of New York, seemingly the 60s New York. Silver Surfer is going to be involved, meaning that in some way or fashion, Galactus is going to be involved. I think that it might work out like this. So what if they established that the Future Foundation in the MCU is a thing? So maybe they established that a version of the Future Foundation exists within the main MCU universe, Earth 199999, and that could be done, I don't know, Captain America Brave New World, Deadpool, Wolverine, maybe. That might make the most sense, is if the Future Foundation is in the MCU through Deadpool, Wolverine. That's how they end up there in some way. And they're, we see in the Future Foundation in the Illuminati world that they're working on multiversal shit. So it stands to reason that the exact same foundation formed in the main universe, seemingly maybe by some of the same people, would be working on multiversal stuff. You could even bring in new scientist characters, new characters that you want introduced for the Fantastic Four. Wyatt Wingfoot could be a part of it. Just put Bruce Banner in there for the hell of it. Hank Pym, I don't know. Eric Selvig is a part of it. But anyway, it's not important who's there. It's important that it exists in this MCU. So the Fantastic Four film seemingly is going to happen in that alternate reality of the 60s that I spoke about earlier, right? Maybe there's some sort of communication happening between, or that happens between the MCU and this alternate reality, which I'll call Earth 60. I don't know, it's in the 60s. Maybe they establish it early on in the film that there's something that's happening, and that temporal disturbance between realities has something to do with Galactus or the Silver Surfer, but it's not really brought up upon except for a few points here and there in the film. I'm thinking it's similar in my mind to the Ultimate Zombies storyline in the Ultimate Marvel Universe of the Fantastic Four, which is Reed Richards of that universe. Another Reed Richards contacts him, and it's seemingly the 616 Reed Richards in the comics, and everybody was freaking out. They're like, oh my god, Ultimate Universe is going to cross over with the Marvel Universe, the regular universe. And they have this cross-dimensional hologram technology, and the Reeds are talking, Teenage Reed and older Reed, and then Teenage Reed gets lured through the portal that he's constructing, and he goes to the universe, and it's the zombie universe. But maybe in this version, it's the Future Foundation of the Earth 60 has made communication with the Future Foundation of the Prime universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And something, eventually that leads them to working out some sort of transportation system that they get sent to Earth 616, as they like to call it. Alternatively, and that could, again, if Galactus is going to be a threat in this movie, I doubt it. If anything, they're going to do the whole Thanos thing, where it's something or someone working for Galactus. It's Silver Surfer's in it, so it could be the the Punisher, that little angry robot that Galactus has in his comic. You can do so much stuff with Earth 60. There's so many things you could go there. But what if Galactus, giant purple man in space, goat of the existence of the universe, not as greatest of all time, but as a literal goat, because he'll eat anything. What if, when whatever happens, that the Fantastic Four gets transported to the Earth 199999, was that too many? He gets transported there too, or follows them through, and oh shit, now you got Galactus in the mainstream universe you got to worry about. That's kind of similar to what happened in the Ultimate Universe again, which is Galactus from the Earth 616, the main Marvel timeline, gets transported to the Ultimate Marvel timeline. And so there were two Galactuses in that universe. One was a swarm of artificial intelligence robots, and the other was just normal Galactus. Alternatively, here's another speculative idea I have. They have said that the director or the writer, whoever, has said that a big inspiration for it are the Lee Kirby series and a couple of others, and then the Ryan North most recent series, which is honestly incredible. It's fantastic. I've talked about it before. Really enjoy it. In that, it begins with the Fantastic Four being hated because they did something that destroyed a couple blocks of New York. We don't know what it is. It's eventually revealed that Reed Richards and the gang, they were fighting Annihilation Wave, maybe, and they were coming out of a portal in the building or something along those lines, or they were swarming around the building, something like that. And the only way that he could get rid of them and stop them from destroying the world is to do this whole teleportation thing where he drops the Baxter building like in the middle of space where it is going to be in the future, and then teleport it back to that point in the future. Something fucking crazy like that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read it. But what if the Fantastic Four have a similar situation with whoever the villain's going to be, possibly Galactus, maybe just the Silver Surfer, maybe his heralds. And there's only one way to save the Earth decision that Reed has to make, and that decision causes some temporally fabric of reality tear, like we saw in the Marvels, to occur. And during that time, they sacrifice themselves, maybe, to save their world and wind up in a new world, which, now that I'm saying it, is what happened in the Marvels as well. But those are my sporadic, harebrained theories and thoughts about what could possibly happen in the Fantastic Four movie.